Everyone, this is Rabbit's blog Animation Bliss, and welcome to another underrated obscure animation corner. So today's animated movie that's underrated that I'll be talking about today is The Secret of Nim. Now, before I get into my thoughts about this movie, I would like to remind everyone that new videos will be posted up every Sunday. It could be Sunday night, Sunday evening, or Sunday morning, depending on when I can get the videos posted up. Excuse me. And if you happen to see a video posted up during the week, that must mean that there was a bit of animated news that was released during the week that I wanted to cover. So those would be considered special videos, but new videos will be posted up every Sunday. So now let's get into this movie review of The Secret of Nim. So The Secret of Nim is about a mouse named Miss Brisby who has 4 kids. And she and her family ends up living in this field that's near the farmer's house. And the problem there is that the farmer's going to start his plow season during the spring. And Miss Brisby and her family have to move out of the fields to get out of the way of the farmer's plow or else they'll be killed. But the problem with that is that Miss Brisby's son Timothy has gotten sick with pneumonia. And Miss Brisby can't really move Timothy or else he's going to die with the illness. So Miss Brisby tries to go out of the fields to find some help, to find people who can help her move her house away from the plowing field while not hurting Timmy in the process. And she meets up with the rats of Nim, who are all rats who have escaped from being lab experiments at the facility called Nim, and they all decide to help Miss Brisby move her house because Jonathan Brisby, Miss Brisby's husband, once helped the rats and them escape from the Nim facility, and they try to go and help Miss Brisby move her house, but of course one of the rats named Jenner has plans of his own, and he might it turns out he might try to sabotage Miss Brisby's chance of moving her house out of the fields. So that's the gist of The Secret of Nim. And what are my thoughts about this movie? I love this movie. I think this is actually my all-time favorite Don Bluth movie because it has a mixture of drama and fantasy, and that was something I always love about these films. And I think this film really mixed the drama and the fantasy elements very well. And another thing I liked about this film was I like how they portray Miss Brisby's character. I like the fact that even though she's scared of going on these missions that she's going on, she knows she has to do it because she wants to protect her son Timmy, and while at the same time protect her whole family from being plowed down by the farmer's plow. So we see that Miss Brisby is terrified of going on all these dangerous journeys just to find a way to move her house and save her son, but she does it anyway because she wants to save her children. And that's what I liked about her character, is that she's willing to go through all these dangerous situations, no matter what the danger is, in order to save the kids. Another aspect I like about this film is how they make certain things seem normal. In this film, like the storyline about Miss Brisby trying to find a way to move her house so she wouldn't hurt Timmy in the process sounds a lot normal, but the way the film approaches is makes it more like a fantasy series more than anything, because the people that she goes to for help, like the Great Hour and Nicodemus, they seem like characters that come out of a fantasy series. Like they're like wizards who try to help out Miss Brisby by using powers, even though the Great Owl doesn't really have powers, but he has the appearance of a wizard who would be able to help Miss Brisby. And I like how the film is able to incorporate the dark fantasy elements into this film while still having like a somewhat normal storyline in the core center of this plot. Um, I also like the fact that this film is pretty dark, because I think it defies the our expectations we had of animation back in the 1980s. Like this film was made in 1982, and at the time most people still thought of animations just being for kids, and then you have this film that's like has violence, has dark themes, has scary moments, and they're like telling the audience, just because we're animated doesn't mean that we can't go into some mature subjects like death, the possible death of a child, death of everybody, or see some deaths in the film or violence in the film. And I like how the film really defied that expectation and show people back then that just because the film is animated doesn't necessarily mean it's always for kids. They can explore different topics that are like mature for little kids, no matter what their standards for animation is in overall. And this film managed to defy all those expectations very well. Um so were there any issues I had with this film? One of my biggest issues with this film is that I felt like they didn't develop Jonathan's character very well. Like, I would have liked to know more about Jonathan as a character before he died. I know that he was married to Miss Brisby, but I would have liked to know, how Jonathan, was like when he was living with Miss Brisby, and how he was like with the kids. Now, I'm not sure if the kids, were born when, I'm not sure if he knew the kids or the kids knew Jonathan when they were that young, because the kids were probably young when Jonathan died. But yeah, I would have liked to know more about all of that, and more about Jonathan's character, other than the fact that he saved the rats of Nim from being experimented on and helped them escape from the institute. So yeah, I'd like to know more about Jonathan's character. Excuse me. And this last thing is not really a nitpick for me personally, because this is the part of the film that made me love the film, but that's the dark subject matter in this film. And for parents who are looking to find a family film for the kids, I will warn you that this film has a lot of scary moments in it, and there is some violence. Like, you see some characters getting stabbed or getting slashed with knives and stuff like that. So if your child doesn't like stuff like that, then yeah, I would be careful with this movie. But overall, I still think this movie is pretty good for family viewing if you're okay with the dark atmosphere that this movie portrays. But yeah, that's just some warnings I throw out to the parents who are like looking for a good family film for their kids. Just keeping a warning for you parents that there is some dark subject matter in this film and some scary moments and some violence. But for me personally, it doesn't affect me, because those were the elements of the film that made me love the film when I first saw it. When I was like in elementary school, I was like, when I saw all the violence in the film, I was like, oh, this is cool. I never seen this much violence in an animated movie. But again, this is suggested for parents who are looking for a good family film, and if they're worried about the violence, like scaring the kids. But overall, I highly recommend you check out The Secret of Nim. I think this is one of Don Bluth's best films, actually probably his best film, and it's definitely worth the watch if you're looking for a dark fantasy animated film. This is definitely one of the best dark fantasy animated films out there. So that's my review on The Secret of Nim, and please feel free to tell me in the comments below, have you seen The Secret of Nim? And if you have, did you like it? Did you hated it? Please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter so we keep you updated any new videos we post up, and also like our Facebook page. Well, hope you enjoyed this video. This is Rabbit's blog Animation Bliss, and I'll see you later.